has banned the sale of alcohol effective 1st of April 2016. So Nitish Kumar is keeping his poll promise. Prabhakar Kumar of CNN IBN joins us now. Prabhakar, take us through the developments over there. And secondly, alcohol does contribute quite a bit to Bihar coffers, close to about 12-13%, at least as per last fiscal year. How are they planning to make up the shortfall?
Yeah, even before Nitish Kumar actually made the announcement for banning the sale of liquor in Bihar, he did mention the revenue which comes from the sale of liquor. That is around 4,000 crores annually. That is what the Bihar government, is the money which comes to the Bihar government's exchequer. But Nitish Kumar has now made it clear that from the 1st of April 2016, that is the next fiscal year, the Bihar will be a dry state. There will not be a sale of liquor, and he would try and make up for the loss of revenue to the state exchequer which comes from the sale of liquor. Remember, this is one of the four promises which Nitish Kumar had made during the entire election campaign. And while making this poll promise, he was actually addressing the consciency of women voters. He has carved over the years, in the last 10 years, Nitish Kumar somehow has been able to carve a woman consciency for himself. And this was a demand which was coming from the women folks, especially the rural women folks, because their households actually suffer, the monthly income suffer because their husbands spend the money on the liquor. So wherever he was going for the public meeting, the women voters would come in bulk and actually make a demand to him that when he comes back to power, he should ban the sale of liquor. And Nitish Kumar had then made a promise that he would do so. And today he kept his promise. This is one of the important poll promises he had made. And even after he was voted back to power this time, after he was...
Okay, Prabhakar, just sorry to interrupt you, but do stay on. We're now joined by Mr. Ajay Alok, the spokesperson of JDU, and he joins us on the phone line. Good afternoon. Could you walk us through the rationale, and also if you could tell us how is the government, state government, going to try and fill in the gap which will be left now, because you won't be getting any revenues from the sale of alcohol?
No, it's not a question of only revenue. He has announced it right now that we will be implementing it from 1st April 2016 because all the modalities have to be worked out. We don't want to have a ban in the state of liquor from the government side, and at the same time we don't want that illegal liquor trade should flourish in the state, like what we have been seeing in Gujarat. So all these modalities have to be looked into. And secondly, the revenue loss which will come to state to close to around 3,200 crores or 3,400 crores, how we are going to cut that gap. So all these modalities, and that's why he has taken time till 2016 April. In the meantime, we'll review all our policies and how it can be implemented in a much strong manner and in totality.
All right. At the same time, Ajay, if I may ask you, how do you plan to maybe mitigate the potential bootlegging that may happen if you do ban alcohol, as we have seen in other states as well?
Yeah, that's the main concern right now. See, Bihar is bounded by every side, one side by Nepal, other side by West Bengal, UP and Jharkhand, which have no liquor ban. And remember one thing, just by government banning the liquor sale doesn't mean that the people also stop taking alcohol. And secondly, we don't want the huge tragedy to happen again and again in Bihar, because once the ban is established, illegal liquor trade will flourish, and we have to keep the checkpoints on that because the human lives will be involved.
So exactly.
At the same time, illegal liquor trade, which is close to 60,000 crores in Gujarat, we don't want the Bihar to be another state following that. So for all these formulations, we have taken this 5 months' time, and the necessary policy changes should be applied, and how it can be practical and feasible on the ground. That is the question, and that's why he has taken time to implement all those things.
So exactly, then in that case, does it not make sense to keep the liquor sales legal? Because instead of losing out on the revenue that you're getting, why open the public to perhaps potential bootlegging and the hooch?
There are both aspects to it. Once we want to ban also, and secondly, we know that we cannot actually, the implementation has to be good on all the sides. Like Gujarat, we have seen that there is a permit scheme there, that if you are 18 years plus, you take a permit from the government and you can have liquor. That is a scheme running in Gujarat. But at the same time, what we can do practical in Bihar, that is the approach we are thinking about. The intention is clear. We want to ban. Intention is another thing. And at the same time, you don't want to have a loss in the revenue. At the same time, we don't want to have a huge tragedy. We don't want to have illegal liquor trade. So all these things require a good policy formulation on the ground. And for that, we have taken 5 months' time. And we are sure that we'll come out with something better.
So how confident will you be after the 5 months time of the foolproofness of this plan?
See, we will be confident, then only we'll be launching it. And what is the results? it will be seen effectively after once we enforce the ban.
Okay. Thank you, Ajay, for taking us through that. So now, Bihar is going to be the fourth dry state, I think, in India. Already you've got Gujarat, Nagaland, and I think Manipur as well. So now Bihar is also going to be a dry state. But let's go across to Nitin Mathur of Societe Generale. He joins us now. Hi, Nitin. We understand that Bihar contributes close to about 5% of United Spirits' sale. So what would be the EPS impact on United Spirits?
Yeah, so it's difficult to work out right now with the details that we have. So we have not worked out those details yet. But yes, you're right. It contributes approximately 5% of IMFL volumes.
All right, Nitin, but if we look at all these smaller alcohol companies like Global Spirits, MP Distilleries, even Radico Khaitan, that one should come up for you, down 10% now. Do you have any clue on what's the kind of revenue share that comes in from Bihar and what?
I mean, as I said, I mean, I don't know for individual company, for the companies that you have mentioned, you know, depending on the company, the straight contribution might be higher or lower, and hence you see good or less, you know, sort of impact on the exact share price right now.
Okay.
And what's the proportion of total alcohol market coming in from Bihar?
5%, roughly around 5%. That's what we estimate.
Okay. So how would you react to this particular development now on United Spirits, which you cover?
See, I think one of the risks that we always saw for Indian-made foreign liquor companies was, you know, state regulations and the whims and fancies, you know, state governments and the changing regulations, which can actually destroy the whole business model. So this news, though unfortunate, doesn't come as a huge surprise to us, because we've seen that in other states as well happening, where, you know, liquor was banned or, you know, some additional licenses were issued, etc., etc. You know, so again, I mean, that's the risk in the alcoholic beverages sector, unfortunately, which investors have to be cognizant of while investing.
All right, thanks a lot for joining in, Nitin. And as we speak, Global Spirits is down about 12% from the high point of the day, while Radico Khaitan, as we just alluded to, down 9.5% as well. More than United Spirits, in fact, it's the smaller companies which will take a beating, because Sonia just tells me that Bihar sold about 17%